You see here these pretty cool auxiliary lights. These lights are controlled by the high beam. We have a custom wiring harness that plugs right into the factory harness, so there's no modifications, no splices needed or anything to the harness. It's a plug and play kit, and these custom brackets attached to the triple trees right here. And then you got these LED lights. These lights are these are the Mojave lights that we're using. They come with a couple different lens options. We usually set them up with the combination spot flood. And so you can see right here, you turn the key on the bike. If you turn the high beams on, the lights come on. And of course, if you hit your pass switch, lights come on with the high beam. Anytime the high beam's on, these lights come on. That's my preferred setup. So I know people ask why I do that. To me, that's the best way. I don't like having an additional switch that you have to get to. It clutters up the bars, or it's either cluttered up, or it to put the switch in a place where it's really not in the way and it's cleanly mounted, it's hard to get to. So I love, it's more work, but I love integrating the lights with the high beam. That's, in my opinion, is the way to go. So that's the way we typically do them. We do this on the KLR, the T7, and this. And so, yeah, it works really good. So,
tools needed: flathead screwdriver, 10mm socket, a ratchet, 5mm Allen wrench, 12mm socket, and a torque wrench. Your light kit includes 2 lights, brackets, new hardware, 4 reusable zip ties, and harness. You will also need to purchase this plug to plug into the rear accessory harness. Grab the 5mm Allen wrench. Take these top 2 bolts out. Then grab your flathead screwdriver. You can take the corner of the screwdriver and push the center of these clips, and that will release the clip. Pop it out. You can either use a screwdriver or the edge of your fingernail. There is one on each side. Also use your screwdriver to pull this little corner out from under this other body panel. Does not take much. Alright. There are 4 grommets holding this dash panel in. So you'll have to just work with it a little bit. You can tilt it back, get to this plug. There's a rubber dust boot. It just pops out. Then there's a tiny tab on top, the clip holding this plug in. Push the tab down, pull the connector out. Now your dash is free. Set it to the side. Now we have access to the headlight plug and the auxiliary power plug. You can start by taking this dust plug or dummy plug off, and then removing the bottom connector to the headlight. You can leave this headlight connector clipped into the bracket. We'll grab our harness. We'll drop the 2 pigtails down. They go to the lights. You can let them dangle. Go ahead and plug in to the auxiliary power. Then find the mating connector. Clip it into the headlight plugs. Alright, so with the extra length, you kind of push your the headlight connector over to the side, over to that side. You can take the headlight plugs and your harness, and we can wrap one of the zip ties right around here, grouping them all together. You can cut that zip tie if you'd like to. Now, take the 2 pigtails that were dangling, split them, go down between the steering stem and your fork tubes. Then you can, there's a cross member in the middle, I'll show that in just a second, that you can place those wires on top of and run a zip tie under and around. Here's a close-up of how I routed the wires and the zip tie. Now, move to the front of the bike to install the lights and light brackets. Take your 10mm socket and ratchet, break one side loose. Do one side at a time. As in these sides, not one bolt at a time. Alright, we're going to replace these bolts with the new hardware. Use a 12mm socket to tighten these up. Torque your lower triple clamp bolts to 15 foot-pounds. Honda's manual has not come out yet, but 15 foot-pounds will not be over tightened on these fork tubes and should not let the fork tubes slip in the triple. Let's move to the other side. This is where I put the second set of the other 2 zip ties. on both light brackets. After torquing the brackets and lights on, we can route the wires behind the fork tubes and up to the plugs that we have dangling around the steering stem, both sides. Now move back to the top, reinstall the dash, lay the dash in here, pull your connector up to it, push it in until it clicks. Well, I could barely hear this one click. Then you just take your dust boot. Then you take the dust boot, push it in, make sure it's sealed. Now, start with the bottom. Make sure that harness is tucked behind there, and make sure you're on the right side. Make sure that you're on the right side of these tabs at the bottom. Then push it up to the grommets. Also the sides will have to be pushed in. There it goes. We can take the plastic clips, put them in the bottom. First you have to reset them. You can squeeze the bottom, hold the head, barely turn it and push it down till the clip pops out. You push it in the hole and then push the head of the clip in flush. Do it again here. Take your Allen bolts, your shoulder screws, and put them back in. The job is not complete until we put this harness in underneath the seat. Remove the seat. It's a good habit to always pull your key out. That way you don't bump into it, break it off. Just go ahead and put it back into the ignition. To access the connector where this fuse connector goes, remove the toolkit. Set it right here. Then you'll see another one of those dust plugs or dummy plugs. Pop it off. Set it to the side. Take the fuse connector. Clip it in. And just lay it down there with the harness. Put your toolkit back. Slide your seat back on, and now your lights are ready to go. Last step, turn the handlebars side to side. Check the wiring harness for any rubbing or snagging. If all looks good, you're ready to ride.